Well, good evening, good night, good morning, good afternoon, depending on what part of the world you're in and where you're checking in from. I'm RC Blakes, and I want to welcome you to another Let's Talk with RC Blakes tonight. It is always my honor and privilege to be able to share my thoughts with you. Most of the time, I'm talking about self-love, self-empowerment, relationships, probably the thing I talk about the most. And tonight is no different. So I need you to invite as many people as you can. Call your friends, your family, even your foes, and tell them they just got to tune in tonight. We're talking tonight about how to be the woman that he has to marry. How to be the woman that he has to marry. You know, we're living in a day and time where people are dating. It's like dating has become a full-time job. And so they date. Then they get tired of one another after all of the shenanigans. And then they move on to somebody else. Then they date. And we end up amassing a tremendous body count and never make relational progression as the Bible intends for marriage. So the last time we were together, we talked about dating versus courting. Well, there's a woman that a man will just date if she's broken enough to allow that, just constantly date, sleep, date. But then there's another woman that a man says, I got to make this woman my wife. And so he begins the intentional process of courting her for marriage. In this modern culture, we call it dating with the intent to marry. But there are not many women that men find the intent to marry. And it's not because the women are of less quality or are degraded in some way. It's a matter of consciousness. I talk about it all the time. It's broken consciousness, and we're going to look at this tonight. But how do you become the woman that a man has to marry in an era where dating is often reduced to swipes and situationships and ambiguous intentions? We just kind of go on with the flow. We don't need to define what it is. The call, when you think about the idea of demanding or commanding genuine courtship from the woman's perspective, is not a relic of the past. It is really a radical act of self-governance and self-respect. You see, there's a way you have to live as a woman. And I hear you. I'm not a woman. I can't teach you how to be a woman. I don't want to teach you how to be a woman. I've never been a woman, never had a desire to be a woman. If I woke up a woman tomorrow, I would ask God to just take me out of here. I get it. But I can definitely tell you how to be the kind of woman that would get the kind of results that most women are saying they want in relationships with good quality, king conscious men. So my voice carries some value if you believe it, accept it or not. I went on that rant and forgot what I was getting ready to say. I was getting ready to say this. A man courting you with intention is not really something you can demand. It's something your persona, your self-love, your self-respect has to command. See, demand is where I tell you, this is what I want, this is what I gotta have in X, Y, Z. Command doesn't even need voice. It's the character, it's the energy that flows from you, it's the spirit you have, it's the way you move, it's the way you function that commands everybody in your vicinity, in proximity, to recognize who you are and to rise to the level of respecting you for who you are. So ideally, a woman should not have to demand courting or marriage. Ideally, a woman commands it through her self-governance. This is not about playing games or using ultimatums. If you got to use ultimatums as a woman, I mean, you do this way, that's weak. Quite honestly, that's weak. And any man that falls for ultimatums, well, speaks for itself. If it's weak on the woman's part, you know what it is on the man's part. If you got to throw out ultimatums, this is not your guy, and this is energy that's way below what God intended for you as a queen conscious woman. You're supposed to just be, and it is your spirit and your essence that causes everything in your vicinity to align. Now, to demand to be courted or to command courting is to declare that your heart, mind, and spirit are territories of immense value, requiring intentional and respectful exploration. It's more than just being attracted to the woman's body. It is the exploration of her spirit and her mind. It is to understand that a queen does not beg for attention from the courtyard. She governs from her throne, establishing a standard that compels a man. Listen to this statement. She governs from her throne. Her throne is her consciousness of who she is. She governs from her throne, establishing a standard that compels a man to either rise to the occasion or reveal his inability to do so. So what we've laid out for you tonight is somewhat of a manifesto rooted in timeless wisdom, if you would hear it. Some of you are so trendy, you have become self-destructive. You're following the trends. You're listening to the voices of your generation who are no wiser than you, who have a lot of things to say, but they have no proof of concept. And so when people like me that's been in it for 30 years and people that have been in it for 40 years and 50 years successfully, happily married and have done relationships the right way speak, you don't hear, because wisdom clashes with the trends. So let's jump in. I have about 6 things that play into what makes for a woman that is the woman a man has to marry. Number 1, she must be an uncommon value, not found often. The woman that a man has to marry is a woman that he knows he is not going to find again. And if he does, it would be miraculous. Because these women are usually taken. And when you look at this principle, she must be an uncommon value not found often. This principle moves beyond superficial traits and speaks to a depth of character that is both rare and magnetic. It is the embodiment of holistic health, emotional maturity, intellectual curiosity, spiritual groundedness, and physical well-being. This generation has made you feel like your physicality makes you a high-value woman. You have to be a certain weight, a certain size, a certain complexion, a certain this, a certain that. No, it's a holistic health, your spirit, your mind, your body, all of the like. A woman of uncommon value is not merely pleasant, she is principled. She's capable, and she's a source of strength, making her a true partner and not a project. Her life is a testament to the fact that she is a complete individual, offering partnership of abundance, not dependency. So in other words, to be the kind of woman that would attract a man with a marital mindset and a king consciousness, you simply need to be the female version of that. Like you want a man to have all of this together, well, you should be making those demands of yourself as well, so that you can be what you desire to find in a mate. They need to find the same qualities in you. You must be an uncommon value not found often. And in today's culture, it is difficult, challenging, let's use that. It is challenging to find a wife, and it is becoming more and more challenging to find a husband. Not because men are bad people, but the consciousness and the mentality is so broken. The trauma has taken its toll on both sides. Today we have men that say they want wives, but they don't want to provide. And one of the main functions, practical functions of a husband is provision. We have women that say they want husbands, but they don't want to help. And one of the main practical functions of a wife is to help her husband. That's how broken. So when you find a wife, when you find a husband, or a husband finds you, you found an uncommon, rare. The Bible says in Proverbs 31:16-18, she considereth a field and buyeth it. With the fruit of her hand she planteth a vineyard or vineyard. She girdeth her loins with strength and strengtheneth her arms. She perceiveth that her merchandise is good. Her candle goeth not out by night. This is a rare find. Proverbs 31:30 says, charm is deceptive and beauty is fleeting, but a woman who fears the Lord is to be praised. So I heard this statement made, and it's powerful. Don't know who said it, but listen to what it says. It is your virtue, being men, to try. And it is ours, this is spoken from a woman clearly, by virtue to deny. Now, this quote highlights that a woman's power lies in her virtue and her choice to set standards, compelling a man to rise to the occasion. I wrote a book entitled The Father-Daughter Talk. And in that book, I talk about dress code. And I say in the book that a woman's dress code is her personal commercial. It advertises who she is to the world before she says a word. And what I find today, when I think about this point number one, she must be an uncommon value, not found often. When I think about many women today who I know to be exceptional in terms of profession, I know them to be Christian and women of character, but somehow have bought into the world's trendy dress code. So you see a woman that is brilliant, maybe even genius. You see a woman that is saved, loves God, a woman who is a wife in her heart, but in her mind somewhere, she feels like she has to get half naked to attract male attention because no one told her that, a Chevrolet will have fingerprints on it all day long and people will test drive it all day long, while the Bentley may not be seen for days. But the sale of one Bentley to a qualified customer will be more than the sale of 15 of those Chevrolets. And so you have Bentleys that's trying to wear Chevy logos, not realizing you're misrepresenting your own value. You don't need to be half naked to be attractive or feminine or even sexy. Some say folk don't want to hear that word, but it is a word and it is a thing. And it's a thing that you're going to need when you get married, right? You're misrepresenting yourself, and your commercial to the world is saying, I'm another common thing. The way you dress is either lumping you into the group or it is setting you apart from the group. And I see so many highly qualified women that are choosing their dress code the absolute wrong way. I look at you on social media. I see, why would you be in a professional setting with all of your thigh out? Why is there a need for your thigh to be out? I'm not trying to be your daddy. I'm not trying. I got 3 grown women that I'm the father of, and they make it clear they grown. They gonna do what they want to do. I ain't got but one woman over here that I'm really locked in on. Her name is Lisa Blakes. Everybody else grown. I'm just giving you some advice from a man's perspective. You got to be a rare find. And if you starting out with your initial commercial saying, I'm just one of the gang, I'm just one of the gang, I'm just one of the gang, I'm one of the gang, you're shooting yourself in the foot. Here's an action plan for you. Cultivate skills. This is how you become a rare find. Dedicate time weekly to develop a mix of practical life skills, financial management, home-related situations, crafts, intellectual or creative pursuits. Pursue holistic health. Create a sustainable routine that includes physical activity, healthy eating, and practices that support your mental and emotional, spiritual well-being, such as journaling, meditation, and prayer. Be a whole healthy woman from your spirit to your mind to your body. Don't just sit around eating sugar all day and just lying around flipping through the channels and no physical activity. And embrace your strength. Actively reject the notion that femininity and strength are opposites. Identify your core competencies and use them to build a secure and joyful life for yourself, independent of a partner. Do it now by yourself. When the king finds you, let him find a woman that's independent, but is so healthy emotionally that she yet possesses the ability to be interdependent. So, it may be a good idea to lead this. I'm an independent woman. You may need to leave that alone. That may be working against you if you desire to be married. It's great that you are independent, but you got to have the ability to be interdependent. That's where an independent man and an independent woman come together and they depend on one another. I'm preaching better than y'all shouting. Number 2, she must never bargain her worth. To never bargain your worth is to operate from a throne of deep intrinsic self-worth. Bargaining, whether by accepting breadcrumbs of attention, man just gives you a little attention and you just running behind it. Tolerating disrespect or downplaying your own needs is a subconscious assault on this foundational self-image of the woman. A queen knows her value is a non-negotiable fact to be recognized, not a price to be haggled over. So you're not sitting around having arguments about who's the prize, what you bring to the table, none of these things. In this mindset, you must never bargain your worth. This mindset forces a man to either rise to her standard or reveal that he belongs at a different level. Because stepping off of the throne to negotiate always results in a loss of respect and power, self-respect and the respect of the man. When a woman is able to walk away, when a woman has the power, the emotional and spiritual wherewithal to walk away from a man that is not offering her what she deserves, she has the power. And that man will think twice about that woman. When I said to Lisa, I don't think I want to be married, I think you should move on, she said, okay. She said, okay. And she left, and she never called again. She didn't come around again. She walked away from the situation because she understood, even as a young woman in her 20s at that time, she understood that her worth was not a bargaining chip. Because once you start bargaining with your worth, your value, it drops and it drops and it drops and it drops. And you look around, you're at the very bottom. Your self-esteem is emptied. 1 Corinthians chapter 6, 19 and 20 says, do you not know that your bodies are temples of the Holy Spirit who is in you, whom you have received from God? You are not your own. You were bought at a price. Therefore, honor God with your bodies. And why did I read that? I read that because where many women compromise your worth and your values in the area of sex. You give a man that is not your husband your body. Now, hey, I know I'm going to probably get in trouble on this one, but it's good trouble. You give a man that's not your husband your body. In fact, this is nobody's husband. This is just a grown boy out here having sex. This is a fully developed man's body with a child's mind. And that's who you're in the middle of the bed with. And you compromise your body because you think that sex is going to lead to marriage. We looked at it last week. If you didn't watch that one, you should watch it. We talked about the difference between dating and courting is that dating starts at what's attractive, what's sexy, and dating usually starts at sex and hopes to end up at a place where the two are compatible, where the two are equally yoked. Courting puts the physical stuff way on the back burner, and it starts with the emotional, the intangibles, the principles, the families, the vision, the goals, and then it makes a decision for the pursuit of marriage, and then after covenant, it moves into the physical. Well, if you are the kind of woman that a man knows he has to marry, you got to be a woman that's holding on to your virtue in that respect. Doesn't mean that you're a virgin, but it does mean you're awakened now and you realize that you're not supposed to just be giving your body to a man because he cute or you trying to hook him. And see, the lie that the world tells you is because you have, if you're a woman, because you've had such a sexual history, you might as well just keep giving it away now. I've heard men say that to women. You've had so many partners, you might as well just keep giving it away. No, babe, once you get enlightened and you get a revelation of who you are responsible to rise to that level. And if you do not rise to the level of your consciousness, it leads to depression. And some of you are in depression right now because there's a contradiction between the way you behave and what you really know about yourself. And you're behaving below your standard because you think that you have to compromise yourself to win somebody. You must never bargain your worth. Proverbs 31:25 says, she is clothed with strength and dignity. She can laugh at the days to come. A virtuous woman is not moved by big names and flamboyancy, but only by men of profound wisdom and integrity move her. Men with vision, men who say, this is where I'm going, this is how you fit into it, and this is what I'm going to do to move us in that direction. Are you on board? Not a man whistling at you and telling you how fine you are. Quite honestly, if you were completely healthy, you would have had that conversation with yourself about yourself in the mirror this morning about how fine you are. You don't need nobody to tell you that. You should have said that to yourself. You need a man with a vision, a man that loves God, a man with integrity, a man that does what he says what he's going to do, and he follows through. Because true discernment looks past superficial status and is only impressed by congruent character. 6 feet, 6 figures, whatever else the other thing is. That's rapping. That's not content. What's in there? You can wrap up a box of trash with beautiful paper. What's in there? If you're going to be a woman that a man has to marry, you got to be a woman that never bargains your worth. He can't talk you down off of your standard. Now, here's an action plan. Define your non-negotiables. Write down a clear list of the values, character traits, and treatment you require in a relationship. Here's another one. Practice walking away. Practice walking away. Mentally rehearse and be prepared to gracefully end interactions or dates that violate your core standards. Each time you do this, you reinforce your worth to yourself. Not this, if you do it again. I hate that statement. If you do it again. You've said that statement 1,113 and a half times this year, and this year is not out yet. If you do it again, and he does it again. If you do it again, and he does it again. If you do it again, and he does, no wonder he ain't marrying you. There's no respect. If you will bargain your worth, no one is going to respect you because you are demonstrating a lack of respect for yourself. You got to be able to walk away even if your heart is broken. Your heart will heal. Your heart will heal. You got to practice walking away from things that do not serve you. Here's another one. Audit your self-talk. Actively challenge and reframe any internal narratives that suggest you are too much or you should settle or your standards are a reflection of your brokenness. People that come from where I come from, they shouldn't expect more than this. You must audit your self-talk. All of this is a part of moving away from bargaining with your self-worth or your value. Number 3, I'm taking too long. This woman that a man has to marry must only entertain men of a certain marital mindset. She's not out here wasting time with gigolos and, boys that just play around. Because in a culture of ambiguity, being deliberate about discerning a man's marital mindset is a strategic necessity. This involves moving beyond assumptions and actively gathering data through observation and deliberate conversation. The goal is for the woman, the goal is to assess whether his intentions, life goals, and understanding of commitment align with hers. This is not about pressuring for immediate commitment, but about screening out those who are fundamentally opposed or indifferent to the kind of future you envision. How many of you have entertained men that you knew from the beginning that this boy did not share the same principles or values, but you thought, I'm gonna give him enough, and I'm gonna make him want what I want. I'm gonna change him. Changed you, for sure. 2 Corinthians 6:14 says, "Do not be yoked together with unbelievers, for what do righteousness and wickedness have in common? Or what fellowship can light have with darkness? You started out with somebody that you have absolutely nothing in common with. Absolutely nothing. You gotta get to a point where you entertain men that are of a marital mindset. Not men that's around here talking about, well, let's just see where it go. Let's just see where it go. See where it go. Proverbs 4:23 says, above all else, guard your heart. See, because you can go with one of these see where it go type guys, you let them in, and they'll get a hook in your heart. Now you got a soul tie, and you're tied to a man that doesn't have the kind of qualities to be what you deserve. It is wrong to think that love comes from, listen to this statement. Now, this is powerful. It is wrong to think that love comes from long companionship and persevering courtship. Love is the offspring of spiritual affinity, and unless that affinity is created in a moment, it will not be created for years or even generations. Now, let me explain what we mean by that. This suggests, stuff I just read, suggests that while time is needed to build a relationship, core alignment from the inside out, not the visual, not the physical, from the inside out, core alignment, spiritual affinity is something that can be sensed early on and is essential. Sometimes you can sense that core alignment from the very first date. Sometimes you sense it the first time you meet them. It may not even be an official date, but you have conversation and interaction, and you can sense that there's a core alignment. The pull is so heavy, you can sense that this is my kind. There are a lot of y'all that got your type. You always knew he or she was not your kind, or they were not your kind. Here's the action plan. Prepare questions. Develop open-ended questions that reveal character and mindset. Here's some examples. What does what you could ask a guy? What does a successful partnership look like to you? And then you hear him say, partnership. I ain't looking for no partner. I want a woman that's just gonna submit and do what I tell her to do. Well, why are you going out on another date with this person? Okay, here's another one. What are you most proud of in your life and why? Oh, I love my car. I love my car. Oh my goodness. I always dreamed of a Bentley, and now I got my Bentley. That's the extent of what you're proud of, a car. That's who you want to wake up to every day. That's who you want to lie down with every night. That's who you want to make babies with, a man that is so shallow. You ask him, what is he most proud of? And he talking about a car. Well, I guess you might like that if you superficial like that. If you need a man that's 6 feet, 6 figures, y'all might do all right together. Oh, here's another one for you. How do you handle conflict or disappointment? See, these are questions that give you a glimpse to the soul of the man. Instead of just going around here batting your butterfly eyelashes and asking no questions. Sister Missionary, am I teaching good? I got Deke at my other studio. This is Sister Missionary over here. She said I'm teaching good. You need to stop batting all them butterfly eyelashes and pull them things off and sit down and ask this man some questions so you can get a chance to discern this man's spirit. And you know what? A man is going to respect a woman that will ask him questions that will get beneath the superficial surface. Here's another one. Observe consistency. Pay close attention to the alignment between his words and his actions. Does he follow through? How does he treat people? He doesn't need anything from the man that parked the car, the waiter, the man that opens the door. How does he treat these people? That's giving you a glimpse of this man's spirit, this man's character, right? Because you won't entertain men that are of a certain marital mindset, and a man that's of a certain marital mindset is a humble man, and he's a man of character. He's a man that considers others. If a man treats, the waiter bad, poorly, what is he going to do to you as a wife 24/7? Now, number 4, the woman that the man just has to marry. See that girl right there? I had to marry that girl. Oh, right there. Right there. I had to marry her. When my mama said to me, boy, you making a fool out of yourself, something just quickened in me. And I said, God, is Lisa my wife? God said, yeah, Lisa's your wife. And she was dating this other guy. And so I had to go back and get that girl. I had to marry her. I didn't want to be married. But when I got the revelation that this your wife, and a great part of that revelation was her ability to walk away and let me sit with my choice. Now, let me move on. Number 4. She communicates and strictly enforces her boundaries and standards. A standard without enforcement is merely a suggestion. A man rarely marries a woman that does not hold her standard. If you saying one thing and I can push you to do something else, I ain't gonna have much respect for you. I'm certainly not trying to make you my wife, because if I can talk you down off your standard, a man in the street may be able to talk you down off of it. If you said to me, oh, I'm about to rock the boat. I'm about to rock the boat, Sister Missionary. I'm about to rock the boat. I'm about to rock the boat, Sister Missionary. If you said to me, God told you not to have sex before you were married, and then I come in there with some flowers, some music, and some candy, and now you all in the middle of the bed doing what you said God told you not to do, why would I marry you and believe that you're going to be true to our marital vows when you dishonored what you said God told you and what you told God? You ain't helping yourself when you get in the middle of that bed and you ain't married to that man. She communicates and strictly enforces her boundaries and standards, because a standard without enforcement is merely a suggestion. Communicating your boundaries clearly and calmly is the first step. The crucial second step is enforcing them without apology when they are crossed. This is not about being punitive. You're not trying to punish anybody, but about maintaining the integrity of your emotional and mental space. It teaches others how they are permitted to treat you and is the ultimate demonstration of self-respect. Matthew 5:37 says, let your yes be yes and your no, no. For whatever is more than these is from the evil one. Don't be saying one thing and then you coloring it some other color, a moment later. Let your yes be yes, let your no be no. Proverbs 31:27 again says, she watches over the affairs of her household and does not eat the bread of idleness. Now, I profess not to know how women's hearts are wooed and won. I have some idea. To me, they have always been matters of riddle and admiration. Man just throws out a lot of stuff and, just twist your thinking all up. Now, some seem to have but one vulnerable point. Some women, while one door of access, in other words, only one or two ways to break through, while others have 1,000 avenues and may be captured in 1,000 different ways. This is why a woman who knows her own spirit and soul, knows your own points of access and guards them wisely, is a formidable and admirable figure. See, a man is always working to figure out where your points of entry are. You're so busy trying to impress him, but he's busy psychoanalyzing you. That's why this is how PhD women are managed by GED men. You got to be wise enough now. And that's what we're talking about when we talk about communicating your boundaries and your standards. That's when you're wise enough to know where your points of entry are and you establish these boundaries to protect yourself. Now, here's an action plan. Be clear and direct. Use I statements to communicate your boundaries. For example, I need consistency, so I don't engage in last minute plans. Don't pop anything up on me. It feels like you're trying to confuse me. I need consistency, or I value respectful communication, so I don't respond to name calling or yelling. I won't call you out of your name and I won't raise my voice to you. So don't do that to me. Predetermined consequences. Know what you will do if a boundary is violated. Again, we don't want to hear nothing about if you do it again, if you do it again, if you do it again. Press the mute button on that. Press the mute button on that. You need to know what you're going to do if a boundary is violated. This could be a conversation. This could be creating space between the two of you, or it could be ending the relationship. Know what you're going to do if a person goes against your boundaries. If you don't respect your boundaries, no one else will. And a man that has to marry you is going to marry a woman that enforces her boundaries. And then follow through immediately. The moment a stated or a standard or a boundary is crossed, calmly enact the consequence. Your consistency is what gives your boundaries their power. Number 5, I'm taking too long. Number 5, she lives her best life. I gotta marry this girl. She lives her best life as an individual in complete bliss or happiness. So as a single woman, she is completely happy by herself. And this man runs up on her. She's having a good time. She's at a party and she's dancing by herself. Come on now. By herself. And she's genuinely enjoying her life. The worst commercial in the world for a single woman is to be walking around here miserably. Who wants to join on? Who wants to connect to misery? You got to learn to be happy. You got to learn to live your best life as an individual. You ain't promised to ever have nobody else in your life, but you promised to be with you until you die. If you can't figure out how to be happy with yourself, how am I going to ever figure out how to be happy with you? Now, this point is the magnetic core of the entire philosophy. A woman who is already living a full, vibrant, and blissful life is not waiting for a man to complete her. She is inviting him to join her in her abundance. Your best life is your throne. From this place, dating becomes about sharing your happiness, not sourcing it. This joy and contentment make you incredibly attractive and prevent you from settling for a relationship that diminishes your light. John 10:10 says, I have come that they may have life and that they may have it more abundantly. You're a Christian. You sure enough ought to be living your best life. Not around here sad, depressed, because I'm this age and I'm that age and I don't have a man. My God. Now, here's an action plan. Curate your joy. Create your own joy. Make a list of activities, hobbies, and goals that bring you genuine fulfillment and peace. Schedule them into your life with the same importance you would a date. Here's another one. Build your community. Invest deeply in friendships and family relationships. Because a rich support system ensures your emotional needs are met from multiple sources, unconditional sources. Celebrate your independence. Regularly do things you love and do them alone. Travel, dine, visit museums. This reinforces the knowledge that your happiness is an inside job. And then number 6, and I'm done. A woman that this man just gotta marry. I gotta marry this woman. She keeps the counsel of the men in her life. Now, this is a profound strategy that leverages objective wisdom, the perspective of trusted male figures, fathers, brothers, uncles, mentors, pastors, can provide a crucial reality check, because these men often understand the male psyche. That's all I'm trying to do every Monday night. Every now and then I get a woman saying, you need to stop talking to the women and start talking to the men. So if I'm telling you there's a wild dog outside, don't go out there. Don't tell me, talk to the dog. And you go outside and the dog eats you up. Should I have opened the window and talked to the dog? And now look, she coming out there, but please don't eat her, Mr. Dog. It's the same thing, my dear. It's the same thing. I'm just telling you there are wild dogs out there. Please don't go outside right now. Don't tell me you should be talking to the dog. That's what y'all sound like when you tell me, talk to the men. But these men, like myself, they understand the psyche and the intentions of men. And the counsel of, the men in your life can help you see red flags you might rationalize away otherwise, and confirm the character of a good man, providing protection and clarity, even teach you how to manage the progression of the relationship so that it ends where you desire it to end. When you're doing things you shouldn't do, that might turn a good man off. When you need to be suggesting certain things that might steer him in the right direction, you get this kind of insight from men. Proverbs 11:14 says, where there's no guidance, a people falls, but in an abundance of counselors, there's safety. Titus 2:3-5 says, likewise, teach the older women to be reverent in the way they live. Then they can urge the younger women to love their husbands, and children to be self-controlled and pure, to be busy at home, to be kind, and to be subject to their husbands, so that no one will malign the word of God. The point is, if you want the best outcomes in life, you need the best counselors. When it comes down to relationships, there is no better counsel than men that you respect, men who have integrity, men who have proof of concept, men who have accomplished what you're trying to accomplish, men who are the kinds of men that you desire to be in your life. Now here's the action plan, and I'm out. Identify your counsel. Choose 2 or 3 men in your life whom you respect for their integrity, their wisdom, and success in their own relationships. Seek specific feedback from these men. When you're seriously considering a man, ask your counsel for their unbiased perspective after they've had a chance to meet him or you've described his behavior to a T. Weigh their input. You maintain final agency over your decisions, but commit to seriously considering their insights rather than dismissing them defensively. So there you have it. There's a breakdown on how queens command a man to court and the kind of woman that a man knows he has to marry. Now, may I pray for you? May I pray for you? Father, I thank you today for just the amazing, wonderful privilege of being able to speak to so many people. So many people. God, I thank you. I thank you for giving your people wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Where we've made mistakes, God, we thank you for giving us the ability to clean those things up and to move on to higher ground. In Jesus' name, amen. Now listen, you need counseling. There's a link for BetterHelp Counseling in the description. If you use that link and you choose to use BetterHelp, it will afford you 10% off of the cost of their counseling. And they in turn will make a deposit into RC Blake's Ministries. So use that link if you need counseling. I want to thank all of you that are part of the Royal Court. That's the members only, members of the channel, and it's a private community. Lisa and I really enjoy that. We have private Zoom meetings with the Royal Court where we're able to talk to them, see them, and they're able to build their own community. Many of the ladies that are in here tonight are part of the Royal Court. You should consider joining the Royal Court tonight. Now listen, go to rcblakes.com. Go to rcblakes.com and register for our Italy trip happening in 2026, June of 2026. We're on our way to Italy. We're going to hit a few, I think like 4 different cities in Italy. And we'd love to have you there. You can go ahead and register now and make your deposit and make monthly installments up until the time we're leaving to go to Italy in 2026. Looking forward to meeting all of you in South Africa, December 1st. We're going to be in South Africa with many of you, and I'm so excited about that. If you're interested in even that trip, though it's close, I think you can still register for that trip right there at rcblakes.com. Thanks to all of my moderators. You all are the best. Thanks to all of you who have sown into our lives. We love you. Lisa and I love you with all of our hearts. And man, I just want to say to you, I appreciate you. You're on top. You're going higher. God has more in store for you. I'm looking to see where my music is. God has more in store for you. So we're going to see you at the top. God bless you. Until next time. Wrong music. Wrong music. That it? Yeah. Right music. See you at the top. New devices.
My queen.
I love y'all.
My queen. Oh, she. Oh, she. Beautiful, wonderfully made. She's heaven's angel. So strong, even in struggle, yeah. When life comes like a storm from every angle, she rises above it all, the backbone of every home. Nothing compares to all she do. The true meaning of every family. She's the glue. Where would we be without you? You brought us Martin, Malcolm, and Obama, yeah, and Jesus too. Oh, she's sophisticated. life inside. 9 months she's carrying, back to work cause the family she's carrying. Society don't give her just due, but she prevails and stands tall, a champion, a true woman.